Alright guys, I am back and today we're going to work on shabby flowers, and this is kind of, we need, well, Lisa a while back asked how I make them. So we're going to attempt to make them on screen via video, and these will be on the box, which I will show all of that in just a minute. But I want to give you kind of like a small tutorial on how I make them. But there are loads of other ladies who are really good at making shabby chic flowers. So first I'm going to show you how to make a lace base. It's fairly simple. These came from Lisa at Handmade by Lisa. So let's just get started. Okay, so you'll need needle and thread to do my version. You can do it with hot glue and no sewing. I myself don't particularly like it that way as much. It just, for me, it doesn't turn out the style I want. They're a little bit flatter than I would like them to be. So yeah, any needle will work as long as it's sharp to go through the laces and the satin without tearing. And then I've just knotted the end. All right, so I go up and through, and then I stop before I'm all the way through, and I catch it in the little circle here. It kind of is almost like a double knot, and it because when you do lace things, you'll find that it likes no matter how big your knot is, it will pull through the lace. So I just like to really anchor it down in there. Okay, so what I do is I just then start just doing a running stitch through there. And I know I think I zoomed in a little bit, so we'll see. I'm hoping that most of this ends up on film. And this could be a lengthy video, so if you haven't already grabbed your drink, you probably should. Okay, so I do mine a little bit different because we still want them to kind of lay flatter in the journals if you're putting them on the inside. So you're going to just kind of just weave in and out, because what we're basically doing is putting in a running stitch, but that's kind of basted. Okay, and I have found that using pre-gathered lace works the best for me. You can try it without gathered lace. I don't like the way that the lace shapes then. So then I'm going to pull it a little bit and see how it's starting to kind of form this right here. So I'm just going to kind of keep going. In here. And if I get quiet, it's because I'm concentrating, because I really want to make sure I am showing you the exacts of what I do. So there comes a point when you're doing this that it is naturally forming a circle. See, we're not quite there yet. When I gather it up, let me take it out a little bit here. Okay. It's going to naturally form a circle, and that's kind of how you'll know that you have enough gathers. So I'm going to pull it. See, and it's not quite there yet. Couple more ought to do it. And one day when I'm at the store, I'm going to remember to buy one of those long needles. And I'm going to put in just a few more just to be safe. Okay, I'm going to pull this through, and then I'm going to gather again, and got to just be careful. See, I have looped my string and everything together. There. Okay, now see how it kind of already pulled into its circle? Okay, when I'm pretty certain that I have the right amount in there, I'm going to flip it over. Well, first I'm going to go through the... Actually, I'm not going to flip it over. Okay. Believe me, I've tried several different ways to make sure that I'm teaching. Okay, see how I pinched that? You're going to bring over where your last stitch is. You're going to pull it, and then you're going to flip your lace over, kind of pinch it, and then you're going to come in from the opposite side, and we're going to make an anchoring stitch. And I do too, right? So I'm going to loop it again. And then this time I'm going to go up through it, okay? Okay, now I'm not going to take this off yet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut the excess off, being careful not to grab where I've stitched, okay? So then we're left with obviously the needle hanging, and now we have two open things here. You're going to grab your needle, make sure it's on the top here, and then you're going to pinch your same sides together because they can tangle, and I'll show you it happens a lot more with the satin. But I'm going to match my two sides together here. And then I'm going to anchor it again just once. I won't knot it. Maybe. That's what I'm saying. You got to have a really, really sharp needle. Okay, now I'm going to just run a small running stitch down that edge. Okay, all the way to the end. So now I've basically made a rosette. And then same thing, I'm going to tie it off. I usually give it 2 here at the end. Okay, like that. Snip off my string, and then I kind of just pull it out a little bit, right? That darn Siamese. So then we're left with this. So also like this one, right? Okay, so now we have a lace base. Now, and I think most of my ribbon that I have over here is too big for these, I think. So let me see here. I didn't think about that ahead of time. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. So then, okay, so when you're working with satin ribbon, I've done it both ways, and I like it this way the best. Of course, you'll have to decide what you like. I always use double-sided satin. Always. Because when it starts popping up like this, you don't want to see like white on the other side or like a negative. So if it's double-sided, then you don't see that, okay? See right in here. Now chances are you won't see it too much, but like where it pops up here, you want it to look the same. In essence, like a flower, right? Okay. All right, so the next thing I do is that if it's a little crooked, I go ahead and just clean it up. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to show you. Okay, so one of these I did not sew, and you can tell. And I did that on purpose so I could show you. Okay, so I didn't sew these two ends together right here. So for this particular one, it's not a big deal, but when it's laying on a project, see where that gap is? Now when I glue this one, I'll go ahead and make sure I get that gap covered. But if you sew it together, right? Let's find our sew mark here. Well, I'll do it on the one that's already done. See, there's not a gap there. So when it lays down onto the project, it looks like one solid piece, okay? Okay, so back to this. Okay, so with satin, when you're doing this, it will fray. So you want to just take your little lighter and just barely, what they call, burnish the ends. So it stops any fraying from happening. Okay, So same concept, only I think I got to get a little more string. Oh, yep, and it came unthreaded. So, and I'm sorry guys, I normally would probably show you with darker string so you could see exactly what I'm doing, but since these are going on our project, we don't really want, like, say brown thread to show through. I want it as hidden as possible. So this one, obviously you can tell, is like a really pale pink. So, and sorry, I got to pull this close to me a little bit here. And if you hear moaning and groaning back there, somebody's not very happy that he lost his manhood yesterday. And all day today, he's been kind of still like drunk and not doing too well with the anesthesia. And he knows I'm talking about him. He just perked up. Yeah, he's been kind of fussy. Like, poor me guy. All right, so with satin, and a lot of people give you like measurements on what you need, like how long to make it, that sort of thing. I'm not going to give that to you because what I found for what we do with junk journaling, it's far better to just make some and then figure it out as you go. Okay, so again, I'm going to anchor it like I did the lace. I'm going to go in through the bottom, and then I'm going to go through my loop here for anchoring, right? I'm going to anchor it good and down in there. And then I'm just going to give it a quick little run through here. This one I'm not going to make as long as I've made the other ones. This is one of those things you're going to have to kind of play with for your specific project and how you want the flowers to look. Because you can, instead of using lace bases, you can just do all satin, or you could do an all lace one. It's going to be kind of project specific, right? So, and plus I'm using smaller lace here, so I'm not going to make it as long, right? Because we don't want it as full, right? Because we're making smaller flowers. So I'll, as I go, a lot of times I'll just start bringing it up and just kind of see what it looks like and do I like it. Yeah, we got to go a little more. See, and I did it again. Okay, so don't worry if you pull it and you realize that you have your strings like looped around, just take your ribbon and just undo it. Okay, and so how I said earlier, how satin twists, it does. So we're gonna kind of look at this and see if it's about what we think we might want. For size, like I said, we're working with smaller lace, so without getting our everything pulled up here. I think we're getting close. I think I'll put 2 or 3 more in and then we'll tie it off. And this time I'm going to do exactly what I did before. As far as pull it through, and then I'm going to knot it. See how it pulled up? So yeah, you got to just get your satin out of there like that. And for good measure, I'm going to do 2 more. Okay, now I'm going to pull it as tight as I can. Remember, I'm going to bind it off. And then on the second one, I'm going to go ahead and pull through the loop. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and snip this off. Remember to burnish your end. If not, it's going to fray. Like, I can show you a little bit. See, it's starting to pull. See? Yeah, if you're not careful, you'll end up unraveling all of your satin, and we don't want to do that. Okay, now it's the top. Let's pull the bottom across. I'm actually going to bring it through here. You got to make sure your ribbon is not twisted and you actually get your end. So again, we're creating just a little rosette. Okay, pull through once. Pull through, and at the very end, go ahead and put your anchor knot in. Okay, and I sew better going this direction, so I'm just going to flip it over. And then I'm just going to do a quick little run stitch down here. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same again. And then my knot stitch, like this. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then you open it up and kind of just move it around. Kind of get your ruffles about where they need to be. Oh, sorry guys, I'll be right back. The dog is getting into something he shouldn't. All right, I'll be right back. Bye. All right, I'm back again. Sorry about that, guys. I swear he's like a little toddler. He's like banging into walls. And okay, so the next step to make these is I think you've seen me punch a bunch of these and I said keep them. Well, this is the project that I use them on. This one is a 3/4 inch punch. I personally like the 1 inch punch, but I lent my 1 inch punch to my mom. So yeah, I'll use the 3/4 and it works just fine. Plus it also works, you know, oh, and make sure you have your seam to the bottom. Okay, and then you're just going to press and hold that for a minute. You can use this little tool, like I've used it quite a bit today, and I like it. It looks great, or works great, not looks great. Okay, so then you want to make sure this seam is also to the bottom, and then we're going to glue this one in the middle of here. And I do use a pretty generous amount when I'm doing this one. And this one, I want it pretty flat, so I'm going to go ahead and use my little silicone tool. And I think this one came from Angelina. And I believe she said that she got it from the dollar store. So it works pretty good. And guys, this is going to get kind of stringy. I have not tried this with any other glues. I thought about maybe doing one with art glitter glue to give you guys some options in case you don't have art or hot glue, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay, so here we go. Now we have a couple of different options. So our flowers together. Now our different options are, you can add one of these little flowers into the middle. Right? You could add just like flower on flower. That looks pretty, right? You can do like one of these little things here in the middle here, right? And you, at that point, depending on what you're using on your cover, you could even do like a gold. The gold looks pretty, kind of flashy, right? I don't have too many colors. Now this one's a little bit big, I think, for this particular flower, but it just gives you some options. Or see, I think I like the gold and I like the flower, so we'll get rid of the cream one for now. Or I got these brads in at Tuesday morning. I haven't seen them since. I got them way back in July when I was doing that ballerina journals, and I haven't seen any since. I'm not going to use the blue. I pulled them, but there's not really any blue on here. And I want to kind of, well, I guess there is a little bit of blue for him, huh? I guess we probably could. I mean, it's all, we could just see how it looks, right? No harm in seeing. And I think the white is just going to wash out too much with these two lighter ones. So like, I mean, I already know which one I'm using, but I just want to give you guys, okay, so what I do if I decide I'm going to do a brad, I go ahead and poke through the middle of this, because you're never going to get a brad through there. But just to give you an idea, right? The blue looks pretty, right? Or like this one here is really the one I'm going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and poke the hole down through there, being careful not to stab myself, right? Okay, so we're through. Maybe, and sometimes they'll go right through, and if they don't, you can just glue them in. I'll just put a little spot of glue up underneath that and then push it all the way back in. Okay, being careful because that metal can get hot with that hot glue, right? All right, so there we go. There's one little flower made, right? Okay, very pretty. All right, so set these little guys up here, and we'll make a couple more together, just so that I know that you guys got the gist down. And I'm gonna make a couple other colors so you really can see just how much you can accomplish, and like maybe we'll make a couple of bigger ones. And I actually think too, I didn't learn it from her, but I do think that Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah last January or February did like a Fabulous Flowers series. And that there she's got, I think she did something similar to this. Okay, so this is one of my little scraps here. So this is kind of almost like a perfect craft for these. So this one will end up bigger, right? Because the wider your ribbon, the wider diameter your flower is going to be. I'm just going to snip that now so I don't forget later. Right? So, like, yeah, like I said, wider the ribbon, wider the lace, the bigger your flower is going to be. These are good in front of the TV things to do, as far as just sewing these together. You can get a lot done. I think it was like spring before last, and I think I still have the basket somewhere because I still have flowers left in it. I wasn't doing junk journals yet, or hadn't quite started doing junk journals yet, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyways, yeah, that's, you know what, now, okay, so here in a minute, I'm going to show you what happens if you use too little, okay? Or if if you've tightened it too much. And there's a fine line, and if I can help you avoid that fine line, I'll try. Okay, so the whiter the lace, the less, remember how I told you, like when it starts to circle around, that's when you're done? Okay. That's true in almost every case, except for when you're using wider ribbon, like or wider lace. The wider you go, the bigger you want this circle here to be, because if you pull it too tight and you don't use enough lace, it will start to buckle, okay? Like buckle under. This one's a prime example. See how it's buckling up right there? I didn't use quite enough of this eyelet. See, yeah. Still usable, still layerable, but yeah, that's one of the things to kind of keep an eye on. And you'll know that the more of these you make, you'll kind of know. Like, I mean, I knew that this little piece would make a perfect flower, right? But if it were any shorter, I wouldn't have used it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull tight, and then I'm going to make my anchor stitch. Sorry, and the washer's going too. The boy's actually home today. All right. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and sew this together. This one's going to be tough again too, I think. It wasn't as tough as the other one. Now that I was telling you all, oh, he is back. I was like, now that I told you earlier that he got huffy and left. I think it's because he knew I was talking about him. So then he went and laid down in the hallway. Now he's back. Should we talk about him some more? Okay, so then we're gonna open that up, see, like this. Okay, so that's this one's gonna be a very large flower, right? So if we put it down on our base, whoop. Okay, now we're gonna kind of decide which one we like the best. Do we like the champagne color, or let's see, I think we could, if I can find it here in my little oh, there it is. We could do a little bit larger, creamier one. I think we'll do that. Okay, so see, I didn't burnish that end before I put it away, so we just burnish it down, then it becomes solid, right? All right, and I think we're gonna need some more string. Yeah. And this is kind of a string, I don't want to say waster because we're making pretty stuff, but, or do I think, you know what, I think I might, am I changing my mind on that color combo? I don't think I am. I was just thinking maybe I was going to change my mind on the color combo. But and then I think the next video will be actually like decorating, because I have done the entire box, guys. I'm sorry I did it without you, but it's one of those things where it wasn't going fast. I mean, it took me like 5 hours to cover that dumb box, and then it took another like 3 hours for it to dry. So I was like, nah, they don't really, I don't think they care. I mean, they got the gist of it. And I think probably off screen, I will probably do a few more small ones, because I think the small ones are gonna be the ones that go on the cover, not on the box. The bigger ones I think I'm gonna use for the box. And then of course we're gonna layer it up, and we're just gonna make this as shabby as possible. Okay, I actually think that's probably good enough. No, we need just a little bit more. Like I said, you could make these literally as big as you want. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. I'm gonna suck down that end. Okay, so I'm anchored. I'm gonna trim. I'm gonna burnish. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sew this one together as well. Sometimes they get a little fiddly too. It's okay. Just get it as close as you can. I really probably should have brought my readers along for this. Kind of struggling seeing the lighter colors, and it's pretty far away from my face, so. Okay, then just whip stitch down. Not whip, what do they call it? Straight. You see what I'm doing. Straight stitch down. Okay. Just straighten it out a little bit, kind of fluff it out evenly. And then maybe in the summer, I'll show you how I make like the big fluffy flowers. Do we like that? I don't know if I like that with those colors. It's a maybe. Let's do one more with, that one's kind of a dusty pink too. All right, so what I'll do is I'll make one more of each, one of these, one of the champagne ones, okay? And then we'll just see which one we like the best. All right, sorry guys, I gotta pull this close. Oh boy, I bet you this video is getting really long. Okay, really quick, I did already burnish that end. Okay. And I will say this. I've made a load of these flowers, and I get the offray or offray or offray. ribbons because I like the quality of them the best. I have used dollar store ribbon, and I have used like the Walmart brand, like their dollar ones. And the only thing I will say is that with these, if you're going to put in the time, quality does matter. So wait till they're on sale if you want to try this. Because I mean, I think each one of these was like $3.99 or $4.99 a thing. So I mean, it's not crazy, but it's not like, you know, certainly that can put a strain on anybody, right? Okay, a couple more. But with this project, with the satin, it matters because the other stuff gets all weird and frays, and it doesn't gather well. Like I said, I've done a lot of these flowers, and yeah, that's my personal opinion. I mean, of course, always use what you want. But for me, quality matters when I'm making these roses. A lot of other things, quality, you know, I mean, you're not going to be able to get away with having nice flowers by using inexpensive stuff, in my opinion. Like I said, I've made hundreds of these. So that's my opinion for what it's worth. I usually, you know me, I like a good bargain, but this is one of the things I don't bargain on. I do spend a little bit more for the ribbon. I usually wait till it's on sale, usually at Joann's. Now the stuff at Walmart that comes like on the reels, like, you know, they have like the whole section of already on this stuff. That stuff's okay. But like their dollar bin that they have, that's like I mean, I would assume across the board it's pretty similar. I'm talking about the stuff that comes like in the eggs, or like right below they'll have like a section of like pre-made bows, that sort of thing. That's the stuff I'm talking about to kind of stay away from, because it's just not. I was trying to think where my basket might be. Oh, it's up there. And actually, if you give me a second, I'll finish this one off, and then give me a second and I'll go get that, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Because I think I still have a couple flowers made with that dollar stuff. Let me tie this off and I'll be right back. Okay, be right back. And I dropped a bunch of stuff. Okay, so this is just an idea of like I've made them bigger than this, but that gives you an idea, and you can use buttons as the thing. Now these stand pretty thick, right? Okay, so this is what they kind of look like with fabric. Here's another little fabric one. Again, okay, so there's another thing. I didn't sew those together. These are some of the first ones they made. Okay, so this rose that I made is that cheaper stuff. And it's over time, even though the ends were burnished and everything, it doesn't look, I don't know if you can tell, just there, like, it's not as bright. It's kind of dingy. It kind of falls apart. This also was part of the cheap stuff, right? So, and this is the one that I was telling you about. If you really like this one, then leave a comment and I'll show you how I made it. But it's one of those ones that, yeah. Oh, see, I even have little ones already made up. We could make some blue ones. Oh, that's really pretty. Ooh, and I have some gray already made up. Check that out. So this is, well, okay, so this one you can probably really tell the difference. Okay, so this was the Dlpfarago, right? Nope, actually this is the Walmart. This is the one that you get at Walmart in their rolls. See, it's not double-sided. Okay, this is the stuff you get at Walmart that's like $1, like for a roll. You can just tell the quality difference. Like it, and it feels funny. And there's going to be some papery in there. Ooh. Maybe for the next journal. I don't think that's quite, no, not quite what we need. But hey, you know what? You just never know what you're going to find out. So yep, more shabby ones. Like I said, these are my first ones, so they're not great. I still like them. Oh, sorry, cat. I still like them, and I'll use them on my own like decorating purposes. But yeah, so that just gives you a rough idea. I think I will let you guys go today, and then like I said, when we come back, I will have finished the little flowers. And you know what? That's not really fair either, is it? Because I told you we would see which one we liked best here. Do you like that? I think I like it like this though, right? Yep. Okay, so I'll use the cream on this one. And then we'll do maybe one of the pink flowers in the middle. Maybe, let's see, where did that loose one go? Did I use it? Nope, there it is. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think I kind of like that one. Okay, so that's how I'll finish that off, and then we'll make some other little ones here. I'll probably use that one with this one. Yep, just make a couple little more, and then I will see you guys when it's time to put it all on the box and the front cover. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.